Well, good day. It's 2 p.m. in the afternoon, July 3rd. And it's a scorcher. It's 32 degrees. It's pretty much unbearable for my dogs to be outside. And where they've got longer coats, it's pretty much to take them swimming. Unless they stay right in the water, which in all honesty, the water in most of the lakes around here at this point is starting to warm up pretty rapidly. So the dogs aren't getting a whole lot of relief from having a swim in the lake, but we've tried to keep them active in the early mornings. But it's definitely going to be a challenge on days like this going forward, especially with Abby. With just her size and the black coat and all the things there, she really gets the effects of the heat, and she's not designed for this heat. She's designed for cool mountain air. I feel bad for her. She wanted to go for a little drive with me here this afternoon, but I kind of just, such thing as cabin fever. Where I've been trying to stay a little bit closer to home for Cooper, it has made it a little bit more like a cooped up chicken. I get cabin fever, and I gotta get out for a little drive or something, and every now and then kind of just gotta get out of the house. And if you're worrying, Cooper has been he's still doing quite a bit better. He's still doing quite good. He's almost like a puppy again, but we're still just not trying to overdo it. You don't want to venture real far away from home with him on like major road trip or anything like that, just because it's a couple spots in his back that bother him, and a long journey in the vehicle being cooped up in a confined space, that doesn't really seem very comfortable for him, especially to get out and to take the chance of him being sore or possibly injured. So kind of throws a little bit of a different pace to the summer, but we're just doing what we got to do to try to keep him happy and healthy, and so far I think we've been doing a pretty good job of it. But at the same time, it's important to get out and keep my own mind frame healthy and enjoy my own days as well. So we're out taking a little drive through the back country. We're currently on Spur Road, and we're headed up to the Dalhousie Road, West Dalhousie Road, and we're going to take that down into Annapolis. And it's really just a nice little drive. It's a nice little drive. The top of the mountain seems to get, on days when it's really, really hot in the valley seems to have like an oven effect, and the wind doesn't necessarily, you don't get the same effect of the wind down in the valley that you do kind of up on the higher grounds in mainland Nova Scotia, or even on the coast. Like what seems to happen on really hot days like this, when your breeze is from the south, you get that oven effect where it's almost pushing the air in the valley, almost pushes that wind up and over, and it carries when it comes off the South Mountain, it carries right across the valley. Instead of dipping down in the valley, it almost just carries right across that thermal floor and goes right over to the North Mountain and then down onto the Bay of Fundy. And really, we don't get a whole lot of the effect of the wind or any cooling effect in the valley. It very much has an oven or like a furnace effect. And I think that's why the drought and the heat, it really kind of gets emphasized in the valley. You see the effects of it quite fast. And this year, with there not being a whole abundance of the groundwater already there, you can already see the effects of the drought or of a future drought that's on its way. In the last week and a half, my yard has turned from this nice lush like we see in front of us right now, the greenery and the trees and in the ferns, it's turned from that to that brown of that dirt pile right there. The water just isn't in the soil like it has been in other years. And what used to be a very clay composition to the soil in the valley, it's almost turned it. Now that we had last year and then this year has kind of followed the same suit, it's almost like when you dig down in, if you're doing any amount of yard work or in the ground, when you dig down, it's almost like hitting concrete, and there's not any moisture there. It's like you're shoveling right into a clay brick. I was into a few things in my yard here a couple weeks ago, and I ended up having to, I found it was so dry, and where I was digging with a spade shovel, I started to get a little bit fearful of the sparks, and I had to cut something off, and before I could do it and proceed with the mini grinder, I ended up just dousing the whole area with the lawn, with the water hose, to the point where it was saturated in the water pool, because the ground 6-8 inches deep, it was still just dust. And this was a few weeks ago, and we really hadn't had any hot temperatures above like 22, 23 degrees at that point. And the rain, it had been April showers and May flowers. But this year, we're just not getting, the rain isn't being as effective as it used to be. We're not getting a slow trickle over the majority of a day. We're getting heavy downpours that aren't penetrating into the layers of the soil like we need. And that's really been the detriment to the soil and to the plants and people's lawns and yards. And I think it's going to be, before too long, I think it's going to be a thorn in our side again here in the Annapolis Valley, if not the entire province. So I think a lot of people have already been kind of holding their breath and clenching their chest when we hear of these early morning thunderstorms that are kind of rolling up from one end of the province up across the spine of the province and continuing up towards Cape Breton. I know I just kind of grasp my chest and hold, and I will not lie, on those days I'm checking Facebook a little bit more, hoping that I don't come across, you're trying to stay in the loop, but at the same time you're praying that you're not going to see that article about a wildfire that just got struck up because of some lightning strike out in the middle of nowhere that people didn't have the benefit of noticing for a few days. And I think that was the end. At the end of it all, I think that was what ended up being the cause of the big wildfire last year down here in West Tallahassee. And that didn't officially get termed as being out and extinguished until just about a month ago, into the spring of 2026. That was still declared an ongoing situation all through the winter and all through the early spring. And I think it was because I think there was still hot spots, or the possibility of things under the snow and under the ground, deep in the root systems, or possible mineral beds that might have played into it. I'm not sure as to what would be out there into the soil, but I'm not going to be naive enough to think that there's not layers in the soil that's not flammable other than tree roots. But to think that that was an active situation and burning for that long, it's kind of mind-boggling, and really throws a different aspect as an outsider looking at the true size and scale of what the firefighters were combating last year. When you get something like that gets burrowed into the ground and it's burning above the soil and below, that's a whole nother thought to think. As you can tell, you can see in the trees now that we're up on top of the mountain and out of the valley. Like it's 31 degrees. So the valley, it's dropped 1 degree as far as temperature wise. But I think that's probably because I'm getting a little bit of shade driving through here. But you can actually feel the breeze, where down in the valley there was no breeze to be felt. It was just moving through thick oven heat. It's at that temperature for me. It's just, I like it hot. I like it warm. I think I would fit in the tropics, but my goodness, it's a little bit much. 31 degrees, 32 degrees. It's a little bit much for me as a maritimer. But even up here, I will say, that breeze hasn't got a whole lot of chill to it. I think right now the only relief that I'm getting is the fact that there's a good batch of wind going across my sweat. It's a beautiful sunny day, but I think I might have been pretty stupid and naive by taking the roof off. But you only get a few days like this a year, and only a couple months to enjoy it. So, although I have taken the roof off in the winter time, and taking the dogs for a couple drives. Once I get to like Millbury Lake on like the back roads or whatever, I have taken the Freedom panels out, and I'll take the Freedom panels out and I'll let I'll open the back hatch up so that the back window is kind of up and only the tailgate of the Jeep is closed, so the dog's got like Abby, she comes and likes to stick her head right up out of the sunroof, right up out of where the Freedom panels or the roof would be. And Cooper, he really likes to sit at the back and look and watch the snow and everything go out the back way. So I can't say that it's the only time in the year that I enjoy it with the roof off, because I will say I enjoy this Jeep the way that the Jeeps are supposed to be enjoyed. I use every aspect of this baby all year long, and I love it. I kind of tease my wife and I joke, because my wife wanted a Jeep for so long, a Jeep or a Bronco, and she always wanted a white Jeep, and I always tease her that I ended up, I bought her dream vehicle for my vehicle, and how did it kind of happen? We joke about it, but I think I get pretty good use out of the Jeep. I think it suits me pretty well as far as personality match. When I was younger, I tended to lean towards like some faster, sportier red cars, stuff that would kind of draw girls' attention or police officers' attentions. But I definitely think now I fell into my vehicle of choice. Maybe that was my wife's plan the whole time. Kind of is the going theme. She kind of does know. She usually does know what's kind of best for me. It's not really a joke either. It's I think a little bit of when you've watched the show from the outside for long enough, and keep in mind we've been good friends and probably best friends since, she's been my best friend at least since like grade 6, which is just crazy and laughable to say, but it's not outlandish to think that somebody that's known you since grade 6 and you're mid-40s now, she probably got a good idea of what you need. Or, she probably got a good idea when I'm kind of full of BS. More so than when I did. Hopefully she just doesn't watch this video, because I'll never live this down. What a nice little drive. Sometimes you just gotta get on a dirt road out in the woods, let the wind blow through your hair. In my case, it's not doing it any justice. It's turning my blonde hair into kind of like a white afro right now. I got the curls. I definitely got the curls for it. And you can laugh and say that I might be exaggerating, but if you've ever seen me after I like blow dried my hair or I've been in the wind, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about, because it looks atrocious. And it puffs up like it puffs up like I got 3 times the amount of hair on my head than what I actually do, which isn't a bad thing when I'm trying to fill in the bald spots that apparently I have. My wife has been so kind to point out. Those and my gray patches. I don't think the gray patches is surprising anybody though. I think I've been going gray since I was like 40. And it wasn't a gradual thing either. It was like nose hair's going gray, sideburns went gray. Like my eyebrows are blonde anyway. And until I get tanned up in the summer and my skin gets darker than what my eyebrows are, you can't even tell that they're there. So it don't even matter that they get gray. But what really did it was like, you don't even have hair on your ears, and then all of a sudden you got gray hair on your ears. Like, it's not even you get hair on your ears, it goes right into the gray hair on your ears, like snap. I wasn't ready for that. And I think you can tell that I'm still not over it. I feel betrayed. Nice day for a beautiful drive. Let my gray hair flow in the wind. Heck with it, I'm just embracing it now. I will say though, it was kind of funny when we went down south this winter. The first time ever being to the Caribbean, actually being south of like Maine. But we went down, and as me and my wife were taking a lot of our pictures in different places. The first day wasn't so bad. I looked like myself and everything, right? But then the second day, the white, like, I started to get the sunglass tan. So, like, I started to get, like, a raccoon eyes. And my hair went, like, platinum. Like, it went, like, platinum white because of being sun-bleached. And I look at our pictures from down south now, and it's just, like, I can't help but laugh. I look like I'm a tanned up, like, 65-year-old guy with just white, like, crystal white hair. To the point where in some of the pictures, my hair is, like, throwing the whole exposure of the picture off. Because it's, you know, some of them a lot of them are taken with the iPhone, and you're using, like, it's using auto resolution, auto focus, etc. And it's just trying to, it don't know what to do. It's like there's this big white disco light in the middle of the pictures that the camera just can't make sense of. Everything else is in great contrast, but you look at my face, it's almost like, when it comes to exposure qualities, it's like the picture is almost blown out of exposure because of how white my hair is, and it doesn't know how to contrast between my skin and my hair. I borderline ruined our pictures. probably in a number of years I'll look back at that as just another thing to kind of chuckle at, and an added memory on top of the layers of memories there on that trip. But I remember looking at the pictures after at the end of the day, and each day kind of just being disappointed and almost like less enthusiastic to take more pictures of us there, because I just looked so foolish. I looked like a cartoon character. Because when I tan, it don't take long, one day in the sun, and I'm tanned, like real tan. And about the same thing for my hair. So the Caribbean just kind of did a number on me. I think a lot of my hair just kind of stayed that color. It didn't come back, it didn't darken up, it just stayed white. But it's kind of funny, if you come across me in, say, December or January, you probably wouldn't recognize me. With the same clothes, same haircut, same person, but you probably wouldn't recognize me. Because my hair will be brown. And I'm not even joking. Like, it's not a blonde, strawberry blonde effect or anything like that. My hair darkens right up to being borderline like a natural brown auburn hair. And what keeps it lighter now is the gray. But in my 30s, it was nothing for me to go into the arena and like my own aunt wouldn't recognize me from the summer to like a few months later when my hair had changed and my complexion had changed. I look like a completely different person. It's kind of nuts. I just think that I was meant to be tropics. Something happened and my existence became in Canada, but I think God meant for me to be born in the tropics. Everything about me is meant to be tropics. You can definitely tell we're back down off the mountain and down into the valley. We're right in Annapolis Royal now. I'm not surprised to see not a whole lot of people walking the sidewalks today. Normally Annapolis is bustling with people from first thing in the morning till the moon comes out and you get to change pace and have a beautiful evening on a patio. But for the most part, Annapolis is pretty active with people on, walking the sidewalks or enjoying the sights of the town. I'm not too surprised today to see a lot of people staying inside close to the air conditioning. Definitely where I should be. I gotta get back for another walk inside the historic gardens. Last year was quite different with the drought. You could see the effects of the drought in there really bad. I kind of like to get back and see it in its full glory. before too much of the summer progresses and a lot of the blooms get lost. Actually realizing that a lot of the blooms have already come and gone now, but it'll be nice to get in there when it's still nice and